skeptics and believers, and welcome to Batboy Lives, the unofficial weekly world news podcast, in which we discover the weird of the world. My name is Tristan, and with me is my associate, Mike.
Hello.
So today we are starting at the end. I got my hands on the final issue ever of the weekly world news, and we're going to go through that one today.
Nice.
I also had a 5-hour energy, so it's going to get real sweaty in here. On the front cover, it's a fun little picture here. We've got a coffin with Batboy in it.
It looks like Batboy died, like he got, I think he got rolled over by a steamroller, looking how flat he is in that
he's
coffin.
like pancake flat.
I'm assuming he saved, like, a bus full of children from, like, a giant steamroller or something, and he pushed the bus out of the way, and last second he got... And also in his coffin, it looks like he has... I mean, of course he has flowers, but, like, is that white thing, is that a part of, like, a tag of the flowers? Is that a sock? What is that?
At first I thought it was a hand, like I thought it was his hand, but that doesn't make sense, because Batboy doesn't have 3 hands.
Yeah, like, looking upon closer inspection, I think it might be a ribbon. I think it might just be a ribbon tied around the flowers. Okay.
We've got Bigfoot as a mourner. We've got the world's fattest cat. It looks like Plod the alien wearing like a priest collar. Is that what that is?
He might be officiating it, or he's just wearing his funeral garb. You know, looks like he's got a tear going on.
Yeah, he's definitely crying.
Well, so it's like Bigfoot looks like it's a tear also.
There's also the Manigator, which is like half man, half gator.
Yeah, he's a new guy that showed up and he's like, hey, I'm in this issue. I guess I'm here. And I noticed the cat isn't crying either. Kind of makes sense because
cats don't cry.
No, they're jerks.
The funny thing I see on here is it says buy now, sell on eBay tomorrow. Well, I actually bought this off of eBay, so it's kind of like a little poetic thing that I bought it like 12 years later on eBay.
Well, how much did you pay for it, Tristan?
Like after shipping and handling, like not even $12.
Hey, I mean, that guy must have made a tidy sum there. He paid, was it $2.99 here? Maybe $3.95 if he's from Canada. Yeah, if you hold on to that for another like 20 years, he might be able to get like $50 for it or something.
I mean, maybe like 15.
Hey, money's money.
So the first article in here, it's called Lost Hikers Found, and the picture is like this child carrying a human head, but it's the human head, like he's not dead or anything, he's alive and like smiling.
Well, he could just be frozen, you know, with a smile, but if we read, we'll learn that's very different.
In, what is that, Austria... Neustift?
Neustift?
I don't speak Austrian, so I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like we just disrespect him if we tried to pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't want to get angry tweets from Austria.
So Neustift. There
you go.
You spelt it out.
Hikers Carl Essen and Willie Yodel had been missing for 5 weeks, and rescuers had given up searching for them long ago. But a family of skiers from this quaint village were horrified when they found the heads of hikers alive and cracking jokes. The men had agreed to eat each other to survive, stammered police warden Heinrich Matz. It's a miracle, grotesque and sickening, but a miracle nonetheless. The article goes on to describe how they'd gone out on a beautiful sunny day, which had become like a blizzard just out of nowhere. They'd gotten stranded and like stuck there, so they agreed to like eat each other, starting with their legs and working their way up, and then they just ate everything but each other's heads.
Okay.
So what, how... I'm kind of confused on the logistics of this, because, like, once your arms are gone, like, how are you going to eat the other dude's arms?
I mean, I guess you just might have to position yourself where you can just kind of be in a position to chomp on each other. But when it gets kind of tricky when you're just, like, head-to-head. Yeah. Because you can't really roll around, unless maybe you still got... I mean, the kid might be covering up more of his neck, but he might be able to roll around with his neck muscles. I mean, also this poor kid, like, was it the kid that found this head, or was it, like, is this the guy's son or daughter? I can't really tell.
Yeah, it doesn't say who found it, so I mean, I'm assuming just by the picture that, like, a child found the head.
He's probably just completely delirious from lack of food and not having, blood pumping to his brain.
It goes on to say, we're both seriously overweight anyways, chuckled Carl's head. Notice how it doesn't say Carl, but Carl's head. I guess it's not a problem anymore, eh? Yeah, agreed Willie, through lips frostbitten from having supped on a cold shoulder. And who'd think you could lose 250 pounds just by lying around and chewing the fat?
Ha ha! Get it? Alright, I like to pretend if somehow this could be real, like, how would it work? You know, obviously, once you start eating the, vital organs, that's kind of, I figure, be game over for the person. Because you could get away probably eating someone's arms and legs, of course. And yeah, once you start eating someone's intestines and...
Yeah, and you don't want to eat intestines. Like, that's gross. That's like... Yeah. That's where the poop lives.
And I mean, how long were they stuck up there, did they say?
Or 5 weeks? Something like that?
Okay, like weeks. Okay, so I was just wondering how long. That's still a crazy amount of food to go through. I mean, even if it's just
250 pounds each, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, they ate their I don't know if they ate their bones. or
you
not.
Can't really eat bones, I don't feel like. I mean, you can eat the marrow, but that's...
You can gnaw them a little bit like a dog.
I feel like since they're frozen, like it kind of preserved their heads. So once you get them to like warmer climates, then they're gonna die. Like
that's true. Maybe you keep them cold enough where like a certain nerve freezes in their head, where like it just keeps them alive. But maybe the caveat is you gotta keep them at temperature, or then they shut off if you get them too warm.
Yeah, because it's been 12 years and we haven't heard anything about these guys since, so I'm pretty sure they're dead.
Yeah, I figured as soon as that kid took him down, or as soon as they got the interview done, it's just like the guy's like, "Oh, I'm dead."
Yeah,
closes his eyes and ascends into heaven. But I also love how it says like Carl's head. So I guess you lose full agency as a person. I guess.
Yeah, he's no longer a person. It's just Carl's head.
Carl's head. So if we eat each other, it's like, "What are you doing today, Mike's head?" "Oh, I'm gonna go hang out with Tristan's head today." Like, okay, or like, "Oh, the heads are coming over today."
So next up, the article is called Dread Lobsters. The image is a lobster that's on a dock, but like the lobster's gigantic compared to everything else in the dock. And it kind of looks like it's got some like carpet samples glued to it.
Yeah, it looks like just took some hair off like one of those like sheepdogs with the really dreadlocky hair and just glued it on, to it was a head and the top of both of his claws, it looks like. And of course, with Weekly World News articles, it has to be poorly photoshopped in.
Yeah.
Super blurry.
I mean, I guess this is kind of like before the time of Photoshop, so, they had to just, like, glue images onto each other, I assume.
I guess, yeah. I think 2007 Photoshop wasn't too... Or I guess Weekly World News was cheap to cough up the $500 for Photoshop.
So this one takes place in Arnold's Cove, Labrador. I have no idea where that is. As big as a Buick. That's how exuberant shell fisherman Bob Smedley described the terrifying catch after a battle that lasted nearly 2 hours.
Damn.
It wasn't just fierce, it was covered with long, coarse hair like porcupine quills. Which brings us up into our first problem, because looking at the picture, that's not porcupine quills. That's like shaggy hair.
Maybe like in the very deep center, there's some porcupine quills, but just overgrown by the sheepdogginess of it, the dreads. Or maybe those quills, but they're covered by the hair.
I mean, maybe that just sounds like
a lot going on, though. It gives like an impression of dreadlocks. Of course, I'm thinking too much into all this, but...
While stories of giant woolly lobsters have been bandied about northern docks for centuries, Smedley produced the first proof that the creatures are real. The wizened lobsterman roped and towed his prize to shore after an hour-long battle. Okay, so that's a problem because above it says it took 2 hours and now it's saying 1 hour, so
yeah.
It's already getting the stories mixed up.
This is clearly fake news. I mean, I was on board during the talking heads, but I don't know. With these dread lobsters, I'm kind of questioning Weekly World News' credibility here.
Yeah, this one's a little bit disappointing because that's like, it's already contradicting itself.
Someone's getting fired.
I hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
Denny Sperling is the reason Weekly World News went under. They got sued by the Dread Lobster Foundation or whatever, and they just went under hard.
Lucky I had my 30-30 Winchester with me in case of polar bears. Which, what? It took 17 shots to finally put him down. Marine biologist Dr. Stanley Bayer named the previously undocumented creature Fuzzimus dambigus. He said global warming has raised sea temperatures sufficiently to thaw many more long frozen colonies. Which, like, okay, I'm like, global warming is, or, whatever, climate change, what we call it now.
Yeah.
Like, that's obviously awful, but the idea of it, like, defrosting these giant monsters, like, I'm kind of into that idea, just, like, narratively speaking.
Yeah, just, like, colonies. I just imagine just, like, tens or hundreds of these just walking up on shore, people just, screaming and running away. And
yeah, like, that makes, like, a kick-ass, like, Godzilla-type movie.
I like that.
The specimen's contents included everything from sharks to well-chewed Speedos. We need to take this threat seriously. Okay, so, like, if it just came out of the ice or whatever, where is it getting the Speedos from? Like, are they ancient Speedos?
I guess as soon as they got out of the ice, they're just, it's like, man, I want me some Speedos.
Yeah, just going after dudes in Speedos.
Yeah, Lobster got one dude in the Speedo. It's like, man, they're really good if they wear a Speedo. That's like
it's like fruit roll-ups to lobsters. Smedley won't name the price, but his mammoth catch has already been sold to an American food chain. I won't say who, but you can read between the lines.
Oh, I believe they had a typo there. I think they made do a read between the lines. I wonder what restaurant it is, Tristan.
I don't know. Where would you sell a giant red lobster?
I don't know. Jeez. I mean, it's hard to tell what color these dread lobsters are because they're not red, but it is a lobster. But I can just see the commercial now. It's like, $19.99, get your fuzziness, damn bigness combo with a...
Oh, no, this is 2007.
Oh. Did Applebee's not exist in 2007? Or Red Lobster?
Applebee's? Why does this always come back to Applebee's? We already established that's a portal to hell. That's where the lobster comes from, not where we sell it at.
That's true. Ancient times, they crawl out of Applebee's and got frozen in the ice. by Santa, and then climate change brings them back out. But yeah, Red Lobster, I guess, seems having their fuzziness, damn bigginess combo. 1999, the free side platter. I guess you get to keep the claw.
Yeah, you can drive home with the Buick-sized claw on top of your car.
Or they're gonna have like those like challenge things, like if you can eat a whole Red Lobster in under like 2 hours, it's free.
Yeah, but also you die because no human can consume that much food.
You die of just some kind of poisoning.
Yeah, and it's it's ancient, so like it's probably got diseases that we're not immune to.
Yeah, ancient meat, you don't want to touch that stuff. That's
no
meat from another time. That's the one thing I won't eat as a dinosaur. I'll go on record saying that.
You won't eat a dinosaur?
I will not eat a dinosaur. Even if they like Jurassic Parked it up, it's like, it's brand new. I'm like, nope. Mm-mm.
All right, well, when the rest of us are enjoying like dinosaur steaks, I guess you'll just have to miss out.
Yeah, well, when you all die of like dino cancer, I'll be the one that's laughing.
That dinosaur meat is absolutely worth it. All right, so next up we have UFO crashes into parked car. 11-year-old foils aliens in Shiny, Pennsylvania. So we have one here in America. Edward Berg is 11 years old and loves baseball, math, and searching for aliens.
What kid doesn't?
Edward believes the aliens are out there and he's determined to get in touch with them, said his father, Bill. Edward's conviction stems from an accident that occurred last winter. My mom stopped to pick up milk at the Plucky Ducky. Is that a real store?
I don't know. Maybe it's like a sister store of the Piggly Wiggly.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, okay. She left me in the car, and during the 2 minutes she was gone, this UFO fell from the sky and slammed into us, rear-ending Mom's BMW. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to imagine this in my head. So it falls down, but it's obviously not falling straight down because it rear-ends them.
Yeah, it's coming in at an angle, like a really sharp angle.
Yeah.
Or I just imagine they're driving around it's just from the sky. I was thinking it'd be funny if they're driving around the parking lot and accidentally back into them. Like, oh, crap,
driving
man,
their UFO.
Go. Also, how fast did it slam into the car?
It totaled the car. It goes on to say that the car was totaled. So, they were going pretty fast.
Man, forgot to turn on the reverse thrusters or something.
Edward's mom goes on to say that Edward claimed a spaceship did it. Well, no one else saw anything, and there were no tire tracks, so I guess it could be true. Thank goodness Edward was okay, more or less.
They still ground him anyway,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They blamed him for it.
Edward began his search for ETs soon after that. I used the internet to read about different ways for contacting aliens, he said. Utilizing generous amounts of aluminum foil and a symbol to simultaneously transmit and gather brainwaves, Edward had spent hours on the deck of his family's home searching the skies. Now, I just want to mention the picture at this moment where he's on the deck and like it describes, he's wearing tinfoil all over him and he's got a drum cymbal and he's shooting lightning.
Yeah.
Where's the energy coming for that?
Exactly. It must be from him, man. Look at his face. He's just like, I have the power.
He must be hopped up on so much sugar right now because it's just a human body doesn't conduct that much energy, I don't feel like.
I guess
not without a power source.
I guess if you eat enough, kids drink all those monsters, and if you play some Fortnite, you can build up the energy to
2007 Fortnite.
Yeah, shoot lightning bolts out of a drum cymbal and a tinfoil hat.
The good news is, while he's waiting to get brainwave signals back from outer space, he does his homework and spends hours reading instead of wasting his time in front of the TV, said Bill. Which is that's the most baby boomer statement I can think of.
A damn TV.
Yeah, always bitching about screens and stuff. Yeah, he's not watching TV. He's out trying to get aliens because that's so much more productive than watching TV.
Totally mentally healthy,
And the final statement here is pretty funny. It comes from Bill. It says, "If we find the ET who totaled my wife's car, I intend to get his insurance company to pay for it."
Ooh.
Because yeah, an alien is gonna have insurance, right?
I don't think Plod. I have a strong feeling Plod does not have insurance.
Oh, it's got to be. This has to be Plod. It's
why'd they hit and run? No insurance, or they could be illegal aliens. We're
not getting into that.
Going to my 2-hour illegal aliens from Quadrant 4 coming over to Earth all the time. Damn it. But imagine being the poor kid. It's the parent comes out and the car's totaled. And what happened? The kid's spaceship came out of the sky and hit the car. And sure. It's you did it, didn't you? I'm no.
And when I was 10 or 11, I was pretty obsessed with aliens, so I feel that's kind of normal for a kid to be into aliens, so I don't know if I'd really buy that. And now this kid is stuck so far into his lie where he has to spend hours out on his deck trying to contact aliens. He's I have to do this or else they'll catch on.
He's 17 still doing it. Parents are just dude, we need to talk to him about this. Kids I still gotta write this lie until I'm 19. And I'll just say But the weird thing is, on the bottom right-hand corner of the page, you got a picture of I'm assuming it's Plod. It's the same one as the cover picture, it looks like. So
yeah.
And he's got his tear. I guess he might be sad also for hitting the car. He's regretful. I mean, he's like, I don't have the money to pay you, but I am truly sorry. So maybe when he gets enough like quib clob dollars, he can pay Bill back. I just also feeling the alien to like American dollar money is really bad exchange rate for him.
Oh yeah, I imagine so. Like our dollar is like worthless right now, so. I wish Weekly World News went on because I want like a follow-up to this. Like I want to know what happened, like a year down the road.
Maybe the kid uses like electric powers to bring the heads back to life or keep them alive. I mean, if you got this much power, you might as well utilize it.
All right, so on to the next article. This one, we're not going to like read the whole thing. I just want to touch on it because I find it really, really problematic. So the title is...
What's wrong with it, Tristan?
How to meet a girl and get her into bed in exactly 10 minutes flat, even if you're old, ugly, bald, and broke. So... I wanted to touch on this because this is like a spam email. Like everybody gets this email in their spam folder like every single day, but it's in your magazine.
Well, we get a limited time offer for 1 month free, so I mean, you should be thankful for that.
I actually sat down and read this whole article, and there's like no content in it. Like it doesn't actually give you the information on how to do it. Like it just says like send in for it, and we'll send you a book or something. Like this is like an ad you get on the internet now, and it really bothers me. And I just wanted to touch on this because it's so skeevy.
Yeah, it does seem like a 90s like porn email back in the day, like how to meet a girl and get her to 10 minutes flat.
Yeah, and I mean this is...
But sure, of course I have more vulgar language with it, but...
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the hot single mothers in your area kind of thing.
Yeah, that want to. Yeah, and XXX and redacted and...
Yeah, it's something that's almost like a timeless kind of thing, I guess, like it happened back in 2007, it happened in the 90s, it's happening now.
Well, hey, at least they're kind enough to give us a coupon for it, so just gotta cut it out. He said he owned the actual article, so you might as well just fill it out, cut it out, and send it in and see what happens.
See what happens.
I'll laugh so hard if you actually got something back.
God. See, like, this is predatory on multiple levels, because, like, this is preying on, like lonely old fat guys. And then they prey on, like, young, sexy women.
Well, also, even on the part says, even if you're ugly, old, bald, and broke, they shall also add in stupid.
Well, that's kind of like the subtext here. Like, that's like reading between the lines, really. But I mean, like, there's been books sold, like, doing this, basically. Like, people wrote books and sold it, like, how to get women. And it's like uses, like, all these skeevy techniques to get women.
Yeah, that's a whole genre called, like, the pickup artist genre.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, like, people make money off of that. And it's really kind of disturbing.
But it's weird. Like, I'm not going to read the article because I can't read. So it really has nothing even like humorous they talk about, or is it just...
Yeah, no, there's nothing entertaining about it. It just goes on and on and on about how good this program is. Like, for 2 pages, like, it's a double page spread, and it says basically nothing. It's just a lot of words to say nothing.
Oh, and it says it's nothing funny, like, women's clothes will melt if you do this, what the book says.
I mean, maybe. I don't feel like reading it again.
Oh, okay, I understand.
All right, so let's move on from that skeeziness.
Let's rinse our souls with some which article's next, Tristan?
It's Inn serves up unsavory soup. Diner finds hair. Beef stew. So this one I found especially fun. This is probably like my favorite of the entire issue. Concord, New Hampshire. We're still in America. Police recently arrested John and Mary Chadwick, owners of a popular bed and breakfast that was the site of a ghastly business practice. For 10 years, the Hansel and Gretel Inn was renowned for its gourmet meals. This right here is the first red flag. The Hansel and Gretel Inn.
So wait, I can see from the picture, are they feeding kids? Or not feeding kids, but, feeding kids to people?
No, it's not kids. Don't worry. They're adults.
Okay, good. I don't care. They can eat as many adults as they want. That's fine.
Guests raved that they'd never tasted anything quite like them. Now we know why. The Chadwicks were cannibals who preyed on unsuspecting singles.
Ah.
I stayed at the inn one night, planning on a quick breakfast before hitting the road, said traveling salesman Stu Garnish. But when I went to retire, I was a little unnerved to find that my bed was actually a bed of lettuce.
Oh, plot twist.
I was wondering why the owners kept encouraging me to eat all those between-meal candies, added Garnish, who immediately checked it out. The Chadwicks might have continued their gruesome culinary practices had it not been for some hair one diner found in a chicken soup. It was still attached to a mustache and part of a nose, said the guest, who immediately called 911.
Yeah, it's kind of a big screw-up on, was it Mary and, what was the other guy? John and Mary? Yeah, he kind of dropped the ball on that thing. Might want to ground it up a little bit more.
Yeah, like, how do you put a whole nose in there? That's just, like, that's a huge slip-up.
The nose looks pretty bumpy on the picture, so you could maybe like say like, oh, that's chicken skin. It's just from.
But there's an obvious nostril and a mustache.
I mean, you just say that's like the chicken butt. That's sorry, we accidentally gave you chicken butt. It's the booty hole, and there's two because it's a mutant. And that's when you just run out of the house into your car and flee the country.
So it goes on to say, they seem like such a sweet couple, said 50-year-old Don Whitby. On the other hand, I'm not surprised that Mr. Chadwick slipped up. He was getting on in years. Couldn't cut his hedges straight either.
Ooh.
Like, she's like, the guy just got arrested. You're going to make like this passive-aggressive jab at him.
Sick burn on him, yeah.
Fortunately, this clears up the missing person reports that have been accumulated over the years. Hopefully, said Sergeant Murray, relatives can take some comfort in the fact that their loved one's body are already in the ground.
Ew.
Is that like a low-key poop joke?
I think so. I guess septic tanks are in the ground and
yeah, and this has another picture of Plod because
Plod.
Why not?
Maybe wait, was it Plod that found the stew? Maybe he was sad. He's like, oh man, I knew stew.
Yeah, I love that one. That's just so. It's got the usual like wackiness that you expect from Leaky World News.
It's still bad Photoshop, but actually is kind of creepy looking. A little bit.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I don't know. I give him like half a point for that Photoshop because it does actually look a little genuine. Because it looks like someone could just take off someone's nose and their top of their lip and just plunk it in someone's, soup. But we got like double cannibalism. We had the two guys eating each other, and now we got New Hampshire. I'm assuming that's one.
It's interesting. It's got a lot of recurring themes in here that like we'd never even noticed.
Oh, and I checked the Dread Lobster. The town is from Canada.
Oh, okay.
Nice trivia for everyone, like it matters.
All right, so we'll go on to the next one. Puppies found on Titanic. What are dogs doing aboard the fabled wreck?
What?
So I'm not going to get into this whole thing. Basically, it says that people in Norway were checking out like rising temperatures in the Atlantic Ocean, and it goes on to say like they found the source was the Titanic, and they find these dogs on the Titanic.
Okay, these like scuba dogs or. Well, I gotta add in the name of the town is pretty badass in Norway. Thor's Cudgel.
Yeah, that's pretty metal.
That is pretty cool. I'm assuming it's a real name. If it is, that's badass.
So it says the guy who like discovered it. He said there's a very familiar shape on the ocean floor. It was the hull of the legendary RMS Titanic, which sank after striking an iceberg in 1912. Being a regular reader of your publication, I knew that descendants of the disaster still dwelled fathoms below, according to the Titanic survivors found on board in the Weekly World News 2005.
Oh, call back.
In fact, not only had they been chosen to remain beneath the sea, there had been a recent population explosion, according to Weekly World News 2007, babies living on board the Titanic. So it's common knowledge, let's say like in this little quasi-universe we're living in, it's common knowledge that people are still living on the Titanic. So why is dogs on the Titanic worth reporting to the news?
I don't know. Yeah, I figure once you got people and babies, that's it. Anything else is kind of, I mean, it's still kind of surprising. Well, how'd they get dogs down here? But
like anywhere there's people, there's going to be dogs.
It's kind of a follow-up story here because they're mentioning all the two other articles about finding people and babies. But I guess the babies wouldn't be as surprising if there's already people there because you figure over time, they would have, because with 2-year gap, I figure someone maybe have a baby.
Yeah, after reporting on finding people on the Titanic, like why are you surprised about the babies and the dogs?
Unless they're just like popping up out of thin air.
So speaking of dogs, this is a very dog-heavy issue. There's another article called Dogfight, July 1917. And I'm not going to read the whole thing on this one either, but it talks about in World War I, the dogfights, like the airplane combat, they're called dogfights.
Yeah.
This one talks about how this pilot had a dog on his plane who would like sniff out the other planes.
I just see the dog with the goggles and like the cap just sticking his head out the side of the plane.
Kind of like a Snoopy thing.
Kind of, yeah, just sniffing around, his tongue just flapping in the wind.
So not only that, but he manned the turret. Like that's incredible. I want footage of that because that's just something amazing.
So did he shoot anyone down or just take pot shots at cats that he saw on the ground?
I think he actually like won the fight.
Oh, he won World War I?
Yeah, like
whoa.
I don't know. I'm not gonna read the whole article again. It's been a couple days, so.
Damn, all of World War I he won. He just like got in a plane with his buddy and just shot. Who was the World War I villain? Was it like pre-Hitler or
Hitler won?
Well, yeah, I guess. And then World War II was like
it was Hitler too.
It was Hitler too, but they still just call him Hitler. But
yeah.
All right. Well, now that we're demonetized, but
I just wanted to talk about that because, like, everybody loves dogs.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good way to get subscribers, is to talk about dogs.
I salute the dog. Thank you for your service.
All right, so next up we have scientists say couch potato exceeded the speed of heavy.
Whoa.
This one is fun. I like this one. In Boston, Massachusetts, when Ed Charles returned from work, he noticed his unemployed roommate, 23-year-old Tim Foley, hadn't budged all day. Tim was right where I left him, on the couch in front of the TV, watching the ball game. I called his name, but he didn't respond, so I went over to see if he was all right. He wasn't. He wasn't blinking. As far as I could tell, he wasn't even breathing. He called 911, and the EMTs were baffled by Tim's state. It wasn't a coma, but it was something entirely different. Professor from the astrophysics department at Hoyle University was summoned to examine the motionless slacker. Not only was Tim not moving, said Dr. Eustace Lyatt, even the atoms in his body were motionless.
Whoa.
By remaining inactive for a prolonged period of time, unchallenged and unstimulated, his body had achieved a state of absolute entropic stasis. He was the ultimate body at rest, Dr. Lyatt explained. He had achieved the speed of heavy.
Dude, I gotta say, that name is just... That's badass. Along with, like, we need to have, like, Thor's Cudgel fronted by Speed of Heavy at, like, Ozfest 2020, if they're still doing Ozfest. I don't know. Shows how old I am, but...
The scientist was afraid to turn off the TV, fearing that the sudden disconnect could turn him into a self-made black hole.
Whoa!
Like, that's some, like, how do you go from, like, atoms not moving into becoming a black hole? I want to know the science behind this.
All right, dude. SCP, Speed of Heavy here. Right. Get this guy under containment.
Instead, we jolted him awake with a kind of defibrillator no Bostonian could ignore. We turned on the Yankees fan channel. I guess that's like a huge insult to Boston people.
I don't know how baseball works.
Yeah, I don't, and I'm from California, so like I don't really know.
Because from my understanding, Yankees is a Detroit team, right? I want to say.
We're gonna get so many angry tweets. God damn it!
Well, I started watching more football, so I'm starting to pick up on it. So I know they want to get the goals, and before the period's over.
So many angry people on us right now.
But I mean, it's pretty cool. Like he figured out a way. Like people spend like decades like meditating and all that, figuring out a way to like slow their heartbeat down. This guy just ate a bunch of Cheetos, watched a bunch of TV, probably got his heart clogged in the right motion, and his brain just died in the right way.
I feel like if this was possible, like I probably would have done it when I was like 13. When I was a teenager, I would refuse to do anything.
I think we've all achieved like the speed of heavy just temporarily at some points, but this man here just managed to just keep it, going forever.
All right, so on to the next one. Female superhero shatters glass ceiling.
Oh,
this one, I wanted to talk about this one because it's like kind of topical in a way. Like it shows how society hasn't really moved on in the past 12 years. And I'm going to read this and I'm going to talk about something that like really bothers me. So this takes place in New York. Residents of New York City can sleep soundly again now that the superhero Woolman is on the job.
Yeah.
Clad in a distinctive costume and cape, Woolman made a dramatic debut that shattered long-standing glass ceiling. This is a literal glass ceiling. It's not like...
Okay.
Yep, she busted that ceiling into 1 billion pieces, said Building Inspector Russ Blandings, standing outside of the New York Life and Casualty building on Fifth Avenue, flew right through one of the glass panels of the lobby's decorative skylight. But her actions were for a good cause. The rescue of 2 window washers who were about to plummet from a collapsing platform 6 stories above. According to eyewitness Isaac Sawit, the heroine had only seconds to act. Those fellows were goners, I tell you, an excited Sawit told Weekly World News. One was hanging by his fingertips while the other was holding on by the legs of the first one. I just love that imagery. If that Supergirl hadn't shown up when she did, those boys would have been sidewalk pizza. Still, the owners of the building would have preferred if the heroine had taken a slight detour. Everyone's glad to have a wondrous woman like that patrolling our city, sure, said the company spokesman, Barney Baxter. But would it have killed her to go around our multi-million-dollar glass ceiling? I hope she's got a good lawyer. And insurance.
Oh.
Woolman has taken the criticism in stride. They're not really upset about the ceiling, she said. The fact is, most people are upset when a female superhero shows up to save them, especially one who isn't built like a Playboy centerfold. Asked who she is and whence she came, the superheroine was coy. I'm traditional in at least one way, she said before flying off. A woman never tells her age, or her origin. Weekly World News will continue to report on the D's and hopefully the background of this super gal. Which this has to be like an older article just like put into like the last issue because like obviously they're not going to continue to report on her.
Yeah.
Because that's the last.
That's the cop out. Like one article guy at Weekly World's like, hey man, I'll write you a 4-article thing, but we'll start it. It's like, this is how he gets around it. Yeah, I gotta say that actually the line, like a woman never tells her age or origins, actually kind of cool. Actually would be kind of a cool line in a comic book. about like, especially like,
I thought it was super cheesy though.
Well, like, especially like someone from like, you know, like a Supergirl or something from another planet,
or like from the 1950s.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. I mean, you can even skip just, you know, never tells her age, just a woman never tells her origin kind of thing would be kind of cool.
So I wanted to talk about this because like the first thing I thought of when reading this was the newer Captain Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Like how like comic book fanboys like lost their entire collective mind because a woman dared to be powerful. It just reminded me like the scene in Endgame where like the women heroes teamed up and like nerdy men just went insane over it and like
yeah.
Like freaked out.
And then you got people freaking out defending it, and then you got people freaking out to defend and then everyone just wants to kill themselves. But
it's a movie, chill out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the what they always want to say about themselves. Like it's a damn superhero movie. Like
yeah, like let people be represented, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care if it's good or bad. Just let movies be made. I hope it's good. That's what I say. I don't care who's in it, who's starring it. Just be a good movie. Just be a fun movie.
The name of this superhero, Woolman, like, yeah, that's super insanely lazy. Like,
well, like I kind of say like if she was like a villain, where it'd be like WOE, dash man or something. But like it just seems weird when she's a whoa man, a woman with all the powers of a man. Something like that. Or that'd be like something made from like the 40s. yeah,
oh yeah, like just like when misogyny was the rule. Oh god.
But, I mean, granted though, I mean, she did save two guys' lives, but I mean, I don't know how fast she flies. If she doesn't fly like light speed fast, maybe I can understand why she flew through the ceiling. I mean, if she was like light speed fast, then yeah, I would at least go around, because I can always catch the dudes probably if they're falling. But also I want to know who's bitching about, someone that saves their life and then they complain about them not looking like a Playboy centerfold. I think if I'm dangling off a window cleaning thing, I don't care who saves me.
Well, that's another common thing in like superhero stuff now. Like people were complaining that like Gal Gadot wasn't attractive enough to be Wonder Woman, or like that's like when she was announced to be Wonder Woman, like that was like an actual complaint people were making. Or the same with Brie Larson and being Captain Marvel. Like they're saying like, oh well, she's not attractive enough, and like people legitimately complain about like their bodies.
Yeah, I mean, Granted, people complain everything. Remember, like, the MCU first started, everyone was bitching about Captain America's outfit. It's like, it's not tactical enough. And it was just like...
Yeah, but I feel like it dials it up to 10 when it involves a woman.
Yeah. It seems like any kind of thing where it's like, I guess we're getting a little bit off topic here. I was just going to I was going to say, like, Black Panther, but any kind of group of people or whatever.
Yeah, if it's not a white male, they're going to bitch about it. Okay, so I think that's the last one we're going to cover on this.
And then I believe they had a very last page on here.
Oh yeah.
It says goodbye, and there's a bunch of random pictures here.
Yeah, just a bunch of random like Photoshop pictures that they'd had from their previous episodes or issues, I guess. They have one where people are taking pictures of UFOs. It looks like a picture of Bigfoot on vacation. There's like he's like in the water and there's a beach ball floating next to him.
I kind of do like the Godzilla kangaroo. That's actually pretty cool.
That's pretty clever. I actually like that. There's an alien, looks like wearing a surgeon's clothes.
Oh, it looks like Plod about to do some probing work here.
Yeah.
Some guy just took a picture while lying down on his back. I guess 2007 digital cameras existed, so.
Yeah, they did.
You got an angel out of the clouds. I don't know what the other object is. It's a violin. Oh, it's a sword on fire. Oh, that's even more badass. Screw the violin, dude.
Yeah, so we're not going to cover every article on this because it's a really huge issue. Like, there's like 48 pages or something like that.
Wow.
So I wanted to do like a highlight of like our favorites.
All right.
Because there's just a lot going on. But we might come back to this one in another episode. I don't know. I feel like there's only so much we can do with Weekly World News because there's a limited number of issues that they did.
Yeah. I mean, there's like probably over 1,000 printed issues, but then there's also the website.
So I mean, we might come back, we might not. I don't know.
But finding issues might be hard to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Unless we buy them off eBay.
Yeah, so I wanted to go into current events because the world is still pretty weird. It's...
Oh, yeah. It's getting weirder every day.
The world didn't stop being weird when Weekly World News shut down. Like, there's still weird crap going on. I wanted to talk about this article I found from Time magazine. The headline is, 7-year-old boy has 526 teeth removed from his mouth.
Whoa. Wait, this is like an actual article?
Yeah, no, this is like real. This is like a real thing that happened.
Whoa, okay.
This was reported on August 2nd, so it's just real recent.
That dentist bill, those poor parents.
This happened in India. It says The boy was brought to the hospital with a swelling in his jaw, according to a statement from the Savitha Dental College and Hospital. Doctors decided to operate and discovered what they said resembled a big bag-like mass weighing almost half a pound, which contained the teeth. This is the first ever case to be documented worldwide, where so many minute teeth were found in a single individual. The statement said that the condition is known as compound odontome. I don't know. I can't read. The removal of the teeth required 5 hours of surgery.
Whoa, that sucks. Poor kid.
Yeah, they had brought him in when he was 3 years old when they noticed swelling in his lower jaw, but he didn't cooperate with the doctors, so like the condition just went undiagnosed for years.
Bonk the kid on the head or give him a sleepy shot and then...
Yeah. I just, like, this isn't, like, absolutely insane or paranormal or anything. I wanted to find, like cryptid sightings, but I can't find anything reputable for that, so...
That's pretty crazy, though, like, 500... I mean, granted, they're all, like, really tiny, like, teeth, but that's still pretty crazy. He got this massive teeth. Like, was this kid... Like, I don't think they let it go where, like, his shift and he grows more teeth and eventually becomes, like, some kind of multi-layered tooth.
Yeah, I don't know. I imagine it probably could have become something really bad for him, you know?
Yeah, I can't imagine it'd really be good for him.
The doctor said it was reminiscent of pearls in an oyster.
Huh.
So, like, just like, shoved in there, basically.
I guess. Were they round and shiny and...
Not like that.
Well, then don't use that example, though.
So, it's not the weirdest thing out there, but I thought it was really weird and really recent, so I wanted to talk about it just real quick, just because that's really crazy.
Yeah, it's...
And have you ever seen, like, an x-ray of a child, like, their jaw before, like, their adult teeth come in?
No.
Like, that shit is creepy.
Really?
Like, it's terrifying. I want you to look that up, like, when you get a chance, because it's disturbing.
Yeah, I don't know. Now that you mentioned, I'm trying to think, like, would it be weird? Like, is it, like, really, like, collapsed in or something? Is it, like, really, like...
Well, okay, so there's, like, the baby teeth, which are, like, in there, and it looks normal, but then, like, above and below in their jaw, like there's the adult teeth. So it looks like there's, like, these, like, teeth, like there's too many teeth. Like, it's really disturbing, because there's so many.
That's pretty cool.
Did you have a cryptid you wanted to touch on real quick for our cryptid of the week?
Not really. I was figuring the cryptid would almost be its own show. I figure we just pick something out and just rant on about it. Or if there was a cryptid you wanted to talk about. But I had nothing really off the top of my head. Unless that was my homework, I was supposed to look for one. But next episode,
I should have mentioned it. Yeah, we'll skip the cryptid of the week this week and in exchange for the current events.
Sounds good.
All right, I think that's the last of it. That's the show. You can find us on Twitter at RedactedCast. We are on Facebook under Redacted and Expunged. We have an email. It's unauthorizedcast@gmail.com, just in case you want to get in touch with us for anything. You want to yell at us. You want to tell us we're lunatics.
Please do.
Is there anything you want to add, Mike?
No, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in, listening. It's our first episode, so...
Well, it's our second episode.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we did the history. Yeah, my brain doesn't work anymore.
All right, next week we have another episode of Redacted and Expunged. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's strange news, not fake news.